to the WODdoc Project 365, episode 518. I'm here with my man Tim, who has the best name in the house because his name is also Tim. He is the co-owner of Keystone CrossFit. It's like one of the three people that actually put the name before CrossFit rather than CrossFit, whatever, Keystone. So it's either that or he's Polish, he made it backwards like I do everything. So anyway, he's on the seminar staff of CrossFit Gymnastics, so I thought it'd be good to kind of talk to him and get in his brain about what happens with gymnastics movements. And one of the ones that we see emerging so much now is handstand walking. And we see a lot of variety, right? Tons of variety. We see some good variety, we see some bad variety, we see some people that are very proficient.
Different levels.
Different levels. So I said to him, how is it that we should start to actually get into it? Because one of the things that I see happen all the time is I see some people that are very proficient at a movement or very good at a movement but not very proficient. So what I said is, how exactly do we build a foundation to have proper, handstand walking? Because just because you can handstand walk, it might look horrible. It might not be that proficient. That doesn't mean that you won't be good at it, but it's probably going to increase the chance that you'll ever, you'll hit a limiting factor. Your ceiling will be much lower, and the opportunity for you to get hurt is much higher, right?
True.
So we need to build a better foundation. How do we build a foundation for doing that? Handstand walking. Take it over.
So,
you're like,
First, what I like to say, or the way I like to train my athletes, is for them to definitely be working on the proper handstand first and foremost. Can they hold a handstand? Can they hold?
So you're saying that people need a handstand to do handstand walks? I would have never thought of that.
True.
But
I don't want my handstand to be me just falling out of control,
right?
Or my handstand walk. I want my handstand walk to be me walking and controlling a handstand.
Right. Because we see some amount of dynamic. People start twisting their hips and everything, especially they go so fast nowadays that it's almost necessary. Just like when we walk, we twist our hips, right? But they should still be able to have control of a handstand.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Got that.
And the better your actual handstand is, the better form you have in your handstand, I would say that the more efficient your movement is going to be.
Right. So the higher
just like
your
anything
ceiling,
in gymnastics, anything in CrossFit, efficient movement is gonna win every day.
It's gonna trump up.
Uh,
So where do we start?
So we start with that. Get working on that good proper handstand. The next thing though, once you have
that's in a different episode, by the way.
Yeah. Once you have that, what I like to do is start working on weight transfer.
Okay.
So we put our athletes on the box in a pike before we have them kicking up to the wall. It's a little bit safer. So, want me to demo?
Yeah.
Okay,
you don't want me to do it, right?
So
I'm
we'll
the one who's doing all the
start.
talking here.
We'll start in a pike on the box, still in a good handstand, but a nice safe position.
Do you want me to do it?
No, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
So it'll allow me to kind of work on the weight transfer that's going to happen when I start walking on my hands. So I'll mount my box, get into the best handstand I can get into, and the first thing is just going to be weight transfer. So I'm just going to start shifting my weight, learning how to keep my arms pressing active tissue, and transferring my weight from hand to hand.
Now, when you transfer your weight, first of all, when you do that, are you thinking shoulder close to the ear or shoulder away from the ear, or does it matter?
So I'm definitely thinking of pressing up.
Okay.
I want active tissue. You're definitely thinking kind of shoulder near the ear. Yeah, pushing the floor,
right.
Pushing up away from the floor. Yeah.
So actively pressing against the floor, not letting that shoulder get all loosey-goosey.
Correct.
Much similar to the way we jerk or the way we use kettlebells or anything else like that.
And still maintaining a good tight core also.
And that's one of the things that I think people just forget so much about. They go upside down and all this turns off, and then it just goes all over the place. You're a percentage dumber when you get upside down. So Your IQ flips as well.
Yeah,
right.
I stole that from a buddy. So the longer you're upside down, the more you want to keep that core tight.
Gotcha.
So step 2, or maybe the next step in the progression, is going to be some more of that weight transfer, but really learning how to focus on your weight being in one hand. And we'll go up to maybe even one fingertip, back and forth. When you can do these controlled and stay active, we'll start lifting all the way off the floor, making sure that it's slow and controlled. and not really. It's controlled. It's not. You're not falling in
Right.
any way.
It's
you're
smooth.
not falling from one hand to the other.
And you wouldn't progress to the next step until you can do the control, right?
Correct, yeah.
Because we see a lot of people jump, right? They're like, oh, well, they're shaking all over the place. But that's not what you want to do, right? You want to make sure that, okay, so if I stay rocking for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, that's what I have to do to build that shoulder integrity.
Yeah.
If I have to go to 2 fingers for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, again. So we show these processes, like, you know, these steps right now, one after another, but they really would take probably weeks, right?
Weeks.
To build.
Yeah, it could be weeks, it could be months. It depends on your strength, your consistency working on the technique, and I mean mobility. It could depend on anything.
Right.
It depends on you know, any injuries, things like that.
Gotcha. So the one that I like that you showed a lot is then how do we start moving the hands, right?
So kind of one of the last steps that I like to use is we call it a Conan circle. Just like Conan the Barbarian, pushing the stone around in the beginning of the movie.
Right.
Arnold.
Yes.
You gotta know, if you don't see Conan the Barbarian, go and watch it.
Yeah. Then there's something wrong with you. It's like not knowing Top Gun.
That's right. So this is really gonna get you able to transfer weight and move and start learning how to move your body in a controlled environment.
Right.
Before you go to the wall, before you start trying to walk on your hands. I like
Right.
to
The biggest
put
thing
this-
that I notice when you do, well, go ahead, do it, and I'll talk about
the Conan circle.
it. Yeah.
So here I'll be still pressing, still hips nice and high, nice and close to the box, and I'm literally going to be transferring my weight, staying close to the box, staying in a good handstand. We normally would go all the way around and then come back.
Awesome. So one of the things that I think is the big, you know, changing point here is when you're going from the shifting point, you know, whether it's full palm just shifting left and right, or then full palm onto fingers, is the shoulder stays in the same position, but now we're making the shoulder support ourselves and go through a range of motion. And what we were talking about before is it doesn't necessarily matter if it's going in this direction or this direction or this direction or this direction. We're still gaining proficiency at loading the shoulder unilaterally and then moving the body, having controlled body movement while still having a stable shoulder.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things that this drill helps is just body awareness upside down.
Yeah.
Can I continue pressing through the floor and now add some kind of dynamic movement to it and not have too much elbow bend, not fall down,
Yeah.
you know, all that. And there's just confidence too.
Exactly.
Just confidence moving from shifting your weight. So
Cool, awesome. How many times would you try to do, like how long would you work on this?
I mean, you could add it. We scale handstand walking down in the WOD. You know, if it's a 50-foot handstand walk, I'll have everybody do once around in each direction. They're very unassuming. It's a brutal movement.
I love it. Conan walks.
Not too much, but
Conan walks for better handstand walks. Guys, so just a little recap. First thing we care about is first getting into that handstand position. Can we get there? Because if not, it becomes very difficult and probably, you know,
you're not going to progress very fast.
I gotcha. And then second is weight transfer, and then weight transfer with some type of dynamic movement. Cool?
Right.
Tim, thank you so much. Keystone CrossFit, thank you guys so much for being such a great host today. Guys, until tomorrow, we are optimizing function to optimize performance.